Hey guys, it's Erica here, and today I'm going to show you how to resize and crop images within Squarespace. So if you're new to Squarespace, you might not know how to do this yet. You might have added an image to your page and it looks really big like this. So I'm going to show you how to make it smaller, move it around, and how to crop it into different shapes. So let's get started. Okay, so let's dive in. I'm just here on Squarespace and I'm just showing you an example on a blank page. So you'll want to click Edit on your page. I'm actually working in Squarespace 7.1 right now, but all of the image cropping techniques apply exactly the same over 7.1 or 7.0. So it doesn't matter which version or which template you're using, this will be the same throughout all Squarespace sites. So when you go to add an image and add your image block, you'll upload your image here in this image block panel. So I'm just going to upload one that I found on unsplash.com, just a random image. Click apply, and of course you'll probably notice that your image is huge. So this is why I'm recording this tutorial, because a lot of people get to this point, they add their image and it looks gigantic on the page and they're not sure how to make it smaller. So luckily there's a variety of options of things you can do. The first I'm going to touch on is how to decrease the image width by using spacers. So just how you added your image block, you're going to add a spacer block. The spacer block is really handy for helping you position items around your page, and it's the same when it comes to images. If you click and drag the spacer block to either side of the image, so I'm going to click and drag it to the left side of the image here, you'll see this black line show up. Whenever you move any block around anywhere, this black line will show, which basically means that's exactly where the block is going to drop when you let go of it. You want to bring it right directly to the side of your image. It's best practice to make sure it's attached to the side of your image rather than having it all the way over to the side. So make sure your black line looks like it's attached to the side of your image, and then you can just drop it. So you can see already we've made the image smaller. Of course, if you're putting the spacer on the left side, it's going to push the image to the right and vice versa. So if you did want to get that image centered, we can just add another spacer block and drag the spacer to the right side of the image. So again, just make sure it is attached to the side of the image and drop it. So this has done a good job of bringing the image in and centering it and making it smaller. And then from there, you can use these tools to click and drag and make the image bigger. So you can see the little drag tool that shows up when you hover over the intersection between two different blocks. And basically, you can position this any way you like. So it makes it really handy to essentially position any images on your Squarespace page. So you don't just have to do this with spacer blocks either, you could also do it with text. So for example, I'm going to just add a text block the same way that I added all of the other blocks. Just pop some text in there and I will drag it over to, let's say, between this spacer block and the image block. And I can go ahead and delete this spacer block. And now I've got an image with some text on the side. So the text block here is basically acting exactly the same as that spacer block did. You can click and drag between. Really any block will do. You could even add another image here. And delete that text block, and you can see that you have two different size images and you can adjust them by basically just adding different blocks and dragging around the blocks and then dragging the position of the blocks to make them bigger and smaller. Okay, so now you know how to play around with the blocks on your page and bring the image width in by using spacers or other blocks. I'm going to show you how to crop the image vertically. So for example, if you wanted to crop the top and the bottom of this image and just focus on the center part, you can do that too. So once you click on the image, you'll see a little gray dot here at the bottom, and when you hover over it, you'll see that drag tool again show up. So what you can do is actually click and drag, and this will crop your image vertically. So this is quite handy if you have a super tall image and you just want to crop it in slightly. So you can play around with this tool and see how it feels with your images. One really important factor when it comes to using this up and down crop tool is that you can actually choose a point for the image to focus on when you crop it. So for example, if I had an image where the really important part of the image was in this top left corner, I would double click on the image or click on the edit pencil icon and then hover over this little dot here in the middle of the image, which is called the image focal point. So I would move it all the way over to the top left if that's where I wanted the image to focus on. So I'll show you some examples of what that will look like. If we are cropping the image this way, you'll see that it will only now crop from the bottom instead of the top because it's wanting to focus here on this top section. So it's not going to crop any of the top. And then if we drag it out this way, it's going to only crop from the right hand side because it knows I want it to focus up here. And if we get bigger and bigger and bigger with this, it'll just go into that exact spot where I put the focal point. So that's really handy if you are cropping an image and you have, for example, a face that you don't want to be cut off or something like that. Something important in the image that you don't want to get cropped. Otherwise, the focal point will just automatically be in the middle here, which then it will just evenly crop from both sides. There is one other option within Squarespace which might help you crop the image in the way that you want to. So just double click on the image or click on the pencil icon and then click Image Editor here. Not only can you adjust a bunch of the color settings, you can click up here in the top right corner and click Crop. And this will give you more cropping options. So it's pretty much the same stuff that you could do using the tool, but this is actually going to edit the image and crop it out instead of using the frame to crop it. You pretty much just get the same effect by using this, but if you'd prefer to do it this way, where I think you have probably a little bit more control over exactly where the image crops, then this is a good option too. So if we wanted to make a square and just crop it like that, then you would click Save, Save, and it would slowly reload your image as the new image. Just like that, and click Apply. So that's another version of how to crop your images. And then from there, if you want to crop your images into specific shapes, you'll need to do that outside of Squarespace. So a common example would be that you want to crop your image into a circle shape. This is very common, but not something that Squarespace can do natively. So the easiest way to do this is to create it in a design software and then directly upload the image that's already cropped into a circle. And if you're a little bit scared when I say design software, I highly recommend checking out canva.com. It's free, easy, and it's basically made for non-designers, so they make it super, super simple. I'll show you a quick example of if I wanted to crop that image into a circle. So you just sign up at canva.com. It's all free unless you want the pro version, but the free version is fine. So you would just click on Create a Design. They've got heaps of awesome templates you can start from, but if we're just doing something simple like putting our image into a circle frame, you can either enter your own custom dimensions, so it really depends what shape you're going for here. I'm personally just going to do a circle to show you, so I'm just going to click on Instagram post because I know that's going to be a square. Then down the side here you can look for elements, which will have frames. So click into frames, and then basically these are frames that you can put your images into. So here's a simple circle. I'm going to increase the size of the circle, just position it. Then under uploads, you can upload your own images. I already have some here, so I'm just going to use this one, but you can easily upload your own images by just dragging them in here or clicking Upload Media. Then all you need to do is just drag your image into the shape and it will position it perfectly inside of there. If you need to reposition it, you can double click and you can sort of adjust where the image is positioned inside. So that's a really easy way to crop your images into a specific shape, and then from there you would just download the file in either a JPEG or a PNG depending on what you need for your website. Then you could just go back to Squarespace and upload your image that you just created, and you can see it is now cropped into a perfect circle. And that's how you do that. So those are pretty much all of your options for cropping images and adjusting the size of them within Squarespace. I hope that was helpful, and if you have any questions or any other ideas of how to crop your images in Squarespace, feel free to drop them below. Thanks!